Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadara
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Nrsimha, Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu, can you give the Jayadhan? Jayam Krishna. Can you give the Jayadhan? Jayadhan.
Divine Grace H.T. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada,
Jai.
This Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati,
एक अच्छे
Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinti,
Jai.
Nam Acharya Thakur Haridas ki,
Jai.
Hosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nichana, Advaita Vedadar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti.
Jai.
Sri Sri Gauranitai ki,
Jai.
Sri Sri Radha Sham Sundar ki,
Jai.
Sri Krishna Balaram ki,
Jai.
Jai Gaura Premadari.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembly.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to the assembly.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembly. Jai Sri Guru Sri Gaura.
Om Vishnudev Krishna Vishtakutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamina Namaste Shri Chandini Visheshanvari. Hare Krishna. Darren, happy birthday. He's 82 years old. He's also, it's a nice day. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming to glorify Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 4. We are finishing today chapter 4, hopefully. Well, it's never finished, but so we have a few texts left. We didn't finish. You have Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu? Just grab one. And text 39, we're going to begin today. So before that, you know how we connect the soul? Soul is there. Soul connecting to anything through a media. Soul does not connect directly. And the way soul connects through consciousness. It's coming from the soul, but it filters through. So when it filters through the mind, then we perceive subtle things like a dream, daydream, night dream. When it filters through the physical, then we are materially awake, not spiritually, materially awake to the world. But when soul filters through our devotional attitude, our character, in contact with pure goodness, Guru, then we perceive spiritual life. Krishna is his word. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking, that is his own word, and that's him. Krishna's word and Krishna are not different, they're one. But to perceive this, we have to approach him in that level of reality where Krishna exists. Krishna exists in pure goodness. But I mentioned this also this morning, that super soul always eternally in pure goodness. Super soul has nothing to do with the three modes of material nature existence. So in one sense, super soul in our heart, but our body is product of matter. Body is a product of matter, but super soul is always in pure goodness. So when the soul with the devotional attitude approach, then he can go to that level of reality. It's as simple as this. Okay, so with that note, we'll begin our journey today. And one way we can purify is our by chanting this wonderful mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are approaching, it purifies our consciousness. So we can do it together or repeating. We can do it together 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat Nashtaprayesu Abhadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. So we are beginning from fourth chapter, text 39. We can recite together. Saddhavallabhate genam tatpara samyata indriya genam labdha param santim achirenadhigacchati. Saddhavan means a faithful man. Labhate achieves jnanam, knowledge. Tatpara, very much attached to it. Samjata, controlled. Indriya, senses. Jnanam, knowledge. Labdha, having achieved. Param, transcendental. Santim, peace. Achirena, very soon. Adhigacchati, attains. Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu, would you like to read the translation and purport?
Okay.
But before I'm going to tell you what question made on this sloka. So when Prabhu reads the translation and the purport, see if you can draw the answer to that question. Question made. Hare Krishna, I have to mute you. Right. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So the question is, how can one become faithful? One. Second is, how can one be absorbed in transcendental knowledge? When we have a lifestyle in America, is hectic, everyone busy with school, jobs, family matters, and you can add the list, go on. So how can we can be faithful and absorbed in transcendental knowledge? That's the question. Everybody got it? How can you be faithful and absorbed in transcendental knowledge? Okay, Prabhu, we can start.
So you read the translation, right?
No.
You didn't?
I did synonyms.
Okay. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Knowledge in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by a faithful person who believes firmly in Krishna. One is called a faithful man who thinks that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, he can attain the highest perfection. This faith is obtained by the discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt. Over and above this, one should control the senses. A person who is faithful to Krishna and who controls the senses can easily attain perfection in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness without delay.
So here concluding part of 4th chapter, which is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. Hare Krishna. This last section is glories of transcendental knowledge. Now, 5 things we can draw from previous verse 35. It is mentioned that by this knowledge, one will be free from illusion. You have to keep track these 5 results. Hare Krishna, Radhida, can you unmute your side? Why can't I mute here? Why can't I mute here? It doesn't allow.
Is here?
Where?
Oh, here. Oh, this is
Why there is a pin?
there is some site here. Yeah. There is a setting, but I'm not sure where the setting is.
Okay. So 5 results in text 35, we remember, if you remember last week we discussed. One was that when you acquire this knowledge and utilize or apply in your life, then through this realization, you will be free from illusion. and grant one spiritual vision. So that's the first result. And then second, it says that it will elevate even the most sinful person. And third was that it burns away all the karmic reaction. And fourth was that there is nothing as pure as this transcendental knowledge. And fifth was, this will relish one to have happiness within. Original sound. Can you mute this, Rotida? Radharaman Prabhu, can you mute your side? Sound is coming. Why can't I do it? I don't get it. They don't know how to do it properly. Dhira Lalita Prabhu, your side, can you mute?
The host can do it.
Who's
This.
this one?
No, this one. Yeah. Why is pin?
Yeah. I'll just- You can keep speaking on.
Okay. So these are the 5 results. Radharaman Prabhuji, apni unmute, you please mute your side.
না না আমরা দেখতেছি কিন্তু কি হইছে জানি না আপনার দেখতেছি পাঠ শুনতেছি
No, you have to turn off the side so we don't hear
on the
your dog
bottom,
barking.
on the bottom.
আমি পাঠ শুনতেছি আপনারা দেখতেছি নো প্রবলেম প্রভু বাড়িতে যাচ্ছে নাই আমি এসব পাঠ
It's not working.
Why? You're not the host?
I am the host.
Yeah.
So you can just mute on.
It doesn't let you, for some reason, it doesn't give you that
No, you just
option.
use the meeting
Oh
settings.
no, claim host, you're not host, that's why.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have the host key?
দেখতেছি
Oh, on this computer maybe.
আমি
So on this computer, okay, so this way we just have to mute actually, probably mute.
পাঠ শুনতেছি দেখতেছিও
No, she's not muted still.
So you mute yourself.
You can mute all if you are the
If you're the host here.
Host can mute.
Who's the host?
Can you do it?
You can see who is the host.
This computer is not the host, it might be this computer. This computer is not the host.
This person.
Yeah, I see.
Is it running on both computers or just on one?
No, this is nothing.
Just
This is just my note. Okay, while you do this, I'm going to go on. So in this verse we just read, the faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attain the supreme spiritual peace. Now the word given that Shraddhavan means a person who is faithful. Lavate Gyanam, that person's acquire knowledge. So one who has faith, he acquires knowledge. What is this? What are you doing?
Nothing.
Still the sound is there. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Something is wrong.
Who's the host on that?
Nobody marked it as host, actually.
Nobody's host?
Yes.
Then whose meeting is this?
No, I click on your, no, I'm talking about you. I clicked on your side.
So do you have a No, but you
No,
have a
the-
code
the-
for that to claim
Yeah.
host?
A host code, that's what we need.
You have a claim host
Yeah,
code?
this is how come out.
Or it's your meeting?
No, it's not.
Whose meeting is that?
But who created that? He created.
Okay.
Then you're the host.
This is
Today,
you are from.
because it's continuous meeting. You don't have
Very
to wait every
good.
time you.
His account is just.
Wait a second, participant e click करो.
Whoever made the
No, no,
meeting
no,
is
no.
the host.
Yeah.
So it looks like he
And
connected.
Somebody's
and then
coming.
Yes.
took his-
Which one should be?
See, it says claim host because there is nobody who is in the host.
Because
Okay, এটা আপনার আছে নাকি? আপনি
Yes.
আপনার আইডি দিয়ে ঢুকেছেন নাকি?
Yeah, out of this meeting.
Enter the key.
What is the key?
Okay, 1 second. You know your sign in password? Pran Govindo, okay.
Oh, you didn't sign in, that's why.
That's why, okay.
That's
So now it's him. So now, all right, now you're the host. Okay, and now you
mute
can
everybody. So
go on this and okay, so you mute all. Everybody is muted. Yes, now only you are there. Fine, this is good.
Okay, good.
Now come to the
But
original.
1 second, আমি একটা setting করে দিই তাহলে ওটা they will not be able to unmute themselves. তাহলে ওরা আবার
Okay.
খুলে দিবে।
Okay, well, you do that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption. So in this verse, we can ask a question. While I was reading this, I was thinking that so faithful, it says the faithful will acquire knowledge. So is faith alone enough? No. Along with that, there are two more things. You got it?
Yes.
Thank you. Along that, there are two more things in that sloka. It says tatpara. If you look at that verse, it says tatpara means one who is dedicated and one who is devoted. So faith alone is not enough to get that knowledge, because if you get that knowledge, you will be immediately free from illusion. So, and then if you look at the next line, it says sanjata indriye, one who has regulated his senses. Then when one does this, one acquires knowledge. In these three things, having faith, attached, and being materially regulated, then what will happen? Jnanam labdha param santim. Jnanam labdha param santim. Then after one acquires knowledge, one acquires supreme peace. When achirena adhigacchati. Achirena means not long, like next life or after 100 life, million life. You know, sometimes in Bhagavatam when you say achirena means very soon. What is very soon? Like whose soon is calculated? Like is it like 1 million life or this life or within 1 year? So achirena means not long time. Soon adhigacchati, one will get the peace. Now, in previous verse, if you remember, we discussed that kalena bindati. Who were here? You were there. Kalena bindati. In other words, kalena means in due course of time. So the question came like, why Prabhupada put kalena? Even though kalena, you can say in a Sanskrit grammatical, they don't understand this Bhagavad Gita. Those who are non-devotee, they may know Sanskrit. They may say kalena means time. But Prabhupada write in due course of time. In due course of time, what I understand from Prabhupada's translation, if you plant a rose plant and you water, fertilizer, sunlight is coming, and they have a little body. Now, if you say, well, I'm going to pour so much water today so it can bloom tomorrow, will it happen? No. It makes sense? So, in due course of time, the perfect way Prabhupada put it, in due course of time means it has its own time. You keep on doing sadhana, you keep on going, studying Bhagavad Gita, chanting every day. In due course of time, you will be completely aloof, free from all illusion. But you cannot speed up by watering or fertilizer more, that tomorrow from budding it will be blossoming. Not possible. It has its slowly in few days or time. Just like if you are a pregnant mother, say you got pregnancy yesterday and you have to wait for 9 months or whatever, 10 months. But if you say, well, I want the baby 3 months. How about husband loves the wife so much that the baby will be coming out in 3 months? Is it possible? No, it has its own time. So we can also use that logic that when Prabhupada says in due course of time, that's how I understand. It's a very scientific way. Will it take many lifetimes? So here Sri Krishna is expressing Ochirena, it will take a not long time. It takes due course of time. That's what we say. Now another point in this verse also, I made a point that Krishna is saying the faithful will acquire knowledge. What exactly is the relationship between faith and knowledge? Do we have to have a faith to get the knowledge, or we get the knowledge, then we have a faith? That's a very good way. That Krishna says you have to have some faith before you start. I think Prabhupada put in 410, it's the same chapter, 410, he says, Shraddha means preliminary desire. Means you have to have some inspiration, desire to start. Otherwise, it won't. Correct. So you have to have some faith. That's what it means. Some faith. And then now, when you go to a senior devotee or an advanced sadhu, now you already have a faith that he knows or she knows more than me. You do. Otherwise, why you would go to hear from that person? Make sense? So when you go to somebody to remove your doubt, means you already have some respect, some faith that that person knows more than me and him or her will be able to help me. Now, after hearing, after gathering the knowledge or getting the knowledge, then you see that your doubt is gone and your faith became more stronger than before. So how did it happen? You had a faith, then you went to approach the person and the person delivered the knowledge, and then your doubt gone, now your faith is stronger. So, but it is what the word they call symbiotic, interdependent, symbiotic
relationship.
Yes, means you have to have a faith in order to approach, and then after approaching, you get the knowledge, and then your faith is stronger. So more we have faith, more we get knowledge, and more we get knowledge, more we get more, faith gets more. So this is how it goes. And this is very nice. Saddhaval lavate gyanam. This word, Saddhaval lavate gyanam, very nice. Another point, how this progression takes place in this sloka, Saddhaval lavate gyanam. When we have little faith, we associate with the devotee. Actually, in the beginning event, when somebody joins, they have an initial faith. Everybody, they have some faith that they will be better off than their previous life whenever they join. And, and then more and more they hear, oh, Dukkhalaya Masasam, this world is miserable. And then they start seeing it. Somebody says, why devotee talk so much negative of this world? So because they see things you cannot see. It's nothing wrong. Because they see this world is temporary and flickering enjoyment, and people are like spending entire life for it. It's not worth it because it will run out. But your human life is gone, you cannot get. In other life, you cannot get this transcendental knowledge. So that's why devotees are given some time in that way. Another word is given, that when spiritual seekers study scriptures, Their study is accompanied by redirection of heart. So they are trying to attach to Supreme Lord and they are trying to regulate their attachment to the world. So only when this is there, they make a tangible advancement. So academic scholar, now what's the difference between them and us? When we approach spiritual path and we say study Bhagavad Gita with someone and with the group of devotees, just like we're doing, and we have some faith and we're progressing further. Now, we are also disciplining our senses. With the academic study, they do not discipline their senses. They may memorize some slokas. They may even analytically remember which page of which chapter says what. But will they experience the spiritual mystic? No. Because they cannot regulate their life. And we do. The devotees generally, they regulate their life. Like for an example, if somebody say, I want to have a good feast. Now to have one good feast, what do you have to do? If you really think. No, first you have to have a recipe, what the good feast is. And then you have to find a cook who can cook it. And you have to supply the ingredients. And even after you supply ingredients, that's not enough. That you have to have a good place to serve the food. And also, you have to have a good, healthy body. If you're sick and they have a good feast, I want to enjoy the big feast. Well, if you're sick, you're not going. So many things, if you really think. So similarly, in spiritual path, when we think of the spiritual happiness, it has to have all these boundaries also. That you have to have eagerness to serve. You have to associate with those advanced souls, those who are serving strongly. So you have a faith. And then your sadhana is so good. Then automatically all these things like a good cook, good feast made, it's offered nicely, a nice clean place, nice clean plate. I'm very particular on those examples because I thought one incident happened one time, that was the enough and first and last time. You can have a nice food, but if it is in a dirty plate, what is this? Oh, the dog was eating, oh, they didn't wash this plate. How you feel? You got a nice food in the plate, but this Prabhu just reminded the dog was eating from it. And why did they wash it or not? Now, how do you feel to honor it? You're losing like your appetite. But Prabhu, food has nothing to do with the plate. Yes, I know. But you lost your appetite. You're feeling like, well, why did you put it on this plate? Now, if you take it out, that doesn't mean your mind is still like contaminated. Like, so even the person who is offering to you and COVID is going up, and you've seen that the sneeze fell on this, didn't have a mask. I'm not saying this ever happened, but I'm saying like all this. Why? Because this example, this sloka actually gives this, that you need all those components in order to experience this spiritual freedom from all illusion. In order to experience, all this component has to be there. Even if there is a sneeze, then don't give that plate, new person, not the same one. So similarly, it is not the food, it is not the knowledge. It's how much faith I have, what kind of association I have. Do I have a strict discipline in my life? And do I have a good sadhana? All these things together, it will give us that. Okay, then this is a very nice. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave a 4 nice concept I added here. It's very nice. In Veda base, you have a Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Bhagavad Gita. So nice. He says, initial faith is just favorably curiosity. There is something in Bhagavad Gita which I wanted to read it, leads to knowledge. It's interesting the way he put it. This strengthens our faith. So he gave 4. He says, faith is favorable curiosity and knowledge, and then it turns into faith. How? First is various aspects of knowledge in Krishna consciousness. 1, some aspect strikes us as true on first hearing. Initially, we may be suffering, but people around us say, don't leave your fighting spirit, enjoy life, cheers. Then we read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that this world is miserable place. Then we realize that yes, it is true. When we hear that mind is our enemy, where is the mind? Within. Oh, then you start, I have an enemy within. It's like you start noticing, yeah, there's a negativity within me. Oh, that is produced by mind. It's not good. You know what I mean? Like slowly you try to detect. Then it pulls us down. The mind pulls us down. It strikes us. Yes, there is an enemy inside us. It's also a previous chapter, I think 342, 343, the last verse. It says, Abam buddhe param buddha samstabha atmana atmani ayam. Jahi shatru mahabahu kama rupa durashatam. So Prabhupada translate the lower self should be controlled by the higher self. What did you understand? Means there is a 2 self within me. Interesting the way Prabhupada translate. He said the lower self, wait, who is lower self? Has to be controlled by the higher self. Who is higher self? Who is lower self? So that means within me there is 2. One soul, but has a contaminated conditioning, what you call functional identity. And there is a constitutional, eternal, fundamental identity. Both are there. You cannot just run away from each other. They are like intermingle in the conditional life. But we learned that as long functional identity stays under fundamental identity, then you are okay. Arjuna became when? Peaceful. He was joyful when he was doing bhakti yoga. But bhakti yoga means you identify yourself as a servant of Krishna, but you have a Kshatriya nature and you have a duty. Those things has to be under Krishna's service, servitorship. Then it will be wonderful. If we can lead our life like this, we will be very happy immediately. And majority time, actually, even a devotee may feel disturbed because when they forget that. Second point, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, something we understand as true after contemplation and discussion. Like I am not the body. I was like making it was very funny. One time you were saying, oh, we are not this body, we are not this body. This person, whose body am I? Why are you saying we're not this body? It affected me so much, as I never forget. She was very happy. She said, whose body am I then? Why you are like saying I'm not this body? Means they cannot give up that I'm not this body. It's very hard because everything related in our day-to-day functional deals with this body. So I like the way that Prabhupada, where was it? You know, Beetleisha, the devotee in New Orleans? No, is it?
Yeah,
Beetleisha. He said the story that he was there when Prabhupada went to the school and he said, who is the most bright student? And that the student they brought in. not ISKCON school, outside school, public school. He said, okay, I would like you to demonstrate as I ask you to do. He said, touch your head. He touched, what's the big deal? You don't need a big intelligent boy. He was thinking, you know, okay, touch your nose, touch your mouth, touch your ear, touch your soul. Touch yourself. You are intelligent. Why can't you touch yourself? It was very nice the way Prabhupada demonstrated. And he could not touch because where is the soul? So this is very true that after contemplation and discussion, we think that we are unit of consciousness. Thinking, willing, feeling. It's coming from me. That's where we can trace it. The connection of the soul to this world, how? Thinking, willing, feeling. Without these three, you don't have a connection with anything. If you really think, your connection. So this thinking, willing, feeling is what constitutes of consciousness. It has to be purified. And if it is not purified, it is not the filter. Like if I get an email, a bad email, and I'm so angry, if I break the computer, is it the fault of the computer that I got a bad email? No. So computer is like a mind. Mind actually is not a fault of the mind. It filters through the mind. Just like if I have a red glasses, I see everything red. Is it the object problem or my problem? No, it is the filtering through. So when it filters through the mind, then it creates all this unwanted material conditioning, and that's what bewilders the soul. And soul doesn't know how to actually change this filtering, how to actually go to within or adapt Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says adopting, and then try to see through Shastra. Then you will be able to perceive the truth. Otherwise it will bewilder. Okay. We are going to go to the next verse now. Let's see. Yes, Prabhu.
I was just thinking, what you were saying, reminded me of Narada Muni's discussion with Vyasadeva. And he was outlining for Vyasadeva how he was giving actually secrets, how he progressed on the path of bhakti. And he gave 5 secrets there, and very much similar. First he said that you have to control the senses and mind. Then he said you have to be gentle in behavior. And he said, I was attached to the Sangha of great Vaishnava, of great devotees of the Lord. Then he said, then you strictly follow the behavior of those devotees, and then the heart becomes full of faith in these advanced, by these advanced devotees.
Very nice.
1:5.
Yeah, is that the verse? Uchishta lepana anumudita dije?
No, tasyaiva me nuruktasya.
Okay, maybe the verse before or previous.
Yes, 1:5:29.
Yes. But previous verse, it's also give the initial that he took the prasadam with the permission. Uchishta lepana anumudita dije sakritasma bhunjeta, the past kilvishi. All my sinful things disappear by the mercy of this sadhus. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada. Very nice. Thank you. That's very nice. Okay. Next verse is text 40 together. Can you give a book? So this is chapter 4, text 40. Ajnanascha asraddadhanascha samsaya atma vinashyati nayam lokasti na paro na sukham samsaya atmana. Mother Neha, would you like to read? Mother Neha, are you able to read?
Oh, you want?
No. It's okay. Tribikram Babu, would you like to read?
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Purport. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words.
Hold on. Now we have to find three types of people cannot advance in spiritual life. It could be amongst us, you follow. So if we can notice that who are the three types of people cannot advance, in this verse it gives. The three types of people cannot make spiritual advancement. So see if you can pick while he's reading. Okay.
Oh, continue.
Yes.
And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of God and Sri Krishna. Such person cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and his revealed word find no good in this world, nor in the next. For them, there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in a distinct succession and thereby attain success. Yoga sanyasta karmana jnana sanchina samsaya atmavantam na karmani nibbannati dhananjaya. Okay. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work, who conquer of riches. I think this is the next verse.
Yeah, you're going too far. Okay. So who are the three?
No face.
First is ignorance, no knowledge. Agyan, that word is there. I think the first thing is sloka. Agyan. Agyanascha asraddha dhanascha. Agyan means no knowledge. So they will, if that means in order to advance in spiritual life, we have to acquire knowledge and apply the knowledge, both. Okay, and there was the second person?
Faithless.
Faithless. Faithless doesn't mean they don't have a knowledge. They may have knowledge, but no faith. You follow? They may know some philosophy, but they don't have faith. So they will not be also able to advance. So first is no knowledge. Now, if somebody say, "Oh, I have knowledge, but no faith," they cannot also advance. And what's the third?
Doubtful.
Oh, she picked very good. Yes, means you can have a knowledge. You may be practicing also, but filled with doubt. You cannot advance. So this is a very nice. Somebody raised hand or something. Yes.
I just wanted to clarify one thing. Actually, it seems like the third type of person is this one that doesn't believe or worship the personality of Godhead, or is that the fourth type?
Where in the purport?
Yeah.
Can you say it again?
Sure. It says that the first one, the ones that have no knowledge.
Yes.
Is the ones that have no faith, and the third is the ones that don't worship Sri Krishna. I don't believe in him, right? So that's the three.
Right.
So what I wanted to just clarify, when it says, the first type of persons who can advance are those that have the second type that might have knowledge but no faith. So isn't knowledge, real knowledge, shouldn't that lead to realized knowledge and thus faith?
No. Knowledge when you apply. Knowledge when you apply in your life, then it becomes realized. It will not become automatic.
But don't we say that if we are hearing real knowledge, it makes us motivated to apply it and thus move forward?
It has to transform within. Three things require. Srinnato, to hear. Shraddhaya, you have to have faith. Nittam, and daily you have to do. Grinantasya, and uninterruptedly with faith and Srinnato Shraddhaya Nittam. If you hear it every day with faith uninterruptedly, then it will transform your consciousness within.
So is that the knowledge that is being spoken about here?
No, knowledge can be acquired knowledge, just hearing. But I don't
Not
really
realized.
believe in, I may not apply in my life. So it may not. We have to apply. Apply means I have to act on it, believe in it. Makes sense?
Living example,
Huh?
being a living example.
Yes, that's the best. That's the best. Yes, very good. So again, first one is people who just live like animal. They just don't bother about spiritual life. Have you ever seen people? Sure. All over the world. They are not concerned. It's okay, Hari, would you like to take this book? No, it's okay. Do you have any practice? Do you do? It's okay, I don't need. They literally like believe and they say it, they don't need. Their life is just like an animal. Of course, we don't judge, but Krishna says, yeah, he's saying that. So we have to start seeing this. They don't think about spiritual world or God. They think I came to this world, I live or I'll die. What's the difference? Unfortunately, there are many people like this. And the next one is Ashraddha Dhana. Ashraddha Dhana, Prabhupada, those who know but have no faith. Yes, I know Bhagavad Gita, but I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
You know Bhagavad Gita, but you don't believe in it. There are a lot of people in this world also. And they have some sort of spiritual good, but they don't believe in it. So they will not make tangible advancement. And the last one is Samshaya Atma. Like those people practice. I chant Hare Krishna, but think, will this work? They have a doubt. If their doubt are addressed again after 1 week, they will come with the same doubt. Will this chanting work? How the deities will be God? You never thought? You never saw somebody's name?
But I was,
You mean Supreme Personality of God at this doll?
like was doubt is kind of like, because sometimes I've heard devotees giving lectures and they were talking that there is a kind of a healthy doubt. For example, I remember myself, nobody like really taught me things like higher spiritual knowledge. But then sometimes like, I was kind of doubting things like, why, for example, atheism is so prominent and why I should be atheistic. Like I started doubting the system I was living in, So like, and I was like looking back in my life, the doubt actually helped me to be where I am right now. If I would believe the people who were back then around me in taking it for truth, they would tell me like, don't go with the sect, but I was doubting. Right. I had to kind of like, like the doubt actually helped me a lot in my,
Yeah,
class.
that's good.
So it's like, here the doubt is like, maybe there's different doubt. Can you
Yes.
talk about it?
Well, in Samshaya Atma, the word here it says Samshaya Atma. Samshaya means doubt. So Samshaya Atma, doubt can be utilized in Bhagavatam 3.25, 26. Yeah, it says the doubt is a sign of intelligence also.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, means say we want to go to Miami airport. and I'm driving on 75. All of a sudden it says, Tallahassee is 95 miles. Now I have a doubt. I'm going to Miami airport, but it says Tallahassee is 95 miles more. Is that doubt good or bad? It's very good, isn't it? Then I must check where I'm actually going to Miami or going opposite direction. So doubt can be utilized as one example is, say, we were discussing one time, when we drive car, we have a brake and accelerator, and it's, how far distance side by side. Now to go to Miami airport, you need accelerator. But if you only have an accelerator and no brake, because if you have a brake, only brake, you'll never go to Miami airport, because brake will never take you. But if you have an accelerator and no brake, and you really see reaching Tallahassee 95 miles, and you don't have a brake, what do? You're never going to reach Miami. So brake is also good. Doubt is good, because it will give you thinking, stop, where am I going? Am I really advancing? Last Ekadashi I was there. Where am I this Ekadashi? Am I really advancing? Why I'm not advancing? So in that sense, doubt is actually a good tool to examine my own progress.
Because here in the sentence, it
Yeah.
doesn't say just a doubt, but it says you have no faith and are always doubtful, not just doubtful. So if you
Yes.
only doubting, then it still can lead you somewhere good, but if these mix together, no faith and always doubting, then you cannot progress.
Correct.
So because
Like for an example, you go to a doctor.
has to be like two things
Yes,
together.
yes.
Because
If I go to doctor and doctor give me the medicine, and I have this headache or whatever, something, and I doubt this guy. Well, I may be doubting to the doctor and I'm not taking the medicine. Now who is getting benefited, doctor or me? No one. No, medicine. I'm not taking medicine because I'm doubting doctor. Now doctor is not losing anything. I am losing, right? So in that case, doubt is a dangerous thing. It's not doing anything good to me. So doubt can be utilized to check where I'm heading. But doubt can be also harmful. If I don't have a faith to the doctor, why did I go even to doctor? Now, if I go to a doctor and he just give me the medicine, here, go take it, you'll be okay. Then I should be doubt. He didn't even ask what kind of sickness I have. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this happened, but if it ever happened, then I really will doubt that, why he didn't even ask what kind of sickness.
Yeah, I understand, but like if you have strong faith
and
a doubt, so what happened then?
If you have a strong faith and a doubt, then the faith will become more stronger, because doubt will actually help to examine.
There you go.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, there are certain cases when we, by understanding or purification, doubt will become eliminated. But till doubt becomes eliminated, it is helpful to suspend judgment. Suspend the doubts. Like in court, if all parties are not able to present, this is like automatically goes in your car outside. Like, who is
Cutting
moving?
grass, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like funny. Nobody is there, but it's moving.
Yeah, I noticed this. Cutting grass.
So, in the court will suspend the judgment in some cases when the evidence are clear, then there will be elimination. So there is a elimination and there is a suspension. So in our spiritual life, at least we should do suspension if we are not able to understand it. Suspension does not mean perpetual suspension. When we will meet some senior devotee, we will move the doubt from category of suspension to category of elimination. It ever happened with some devotee? Sure, it happens. This will happen over a period of time. But let the doubt not choke our spiritual life. That is the point. You follow? Doubt should not come to a point like, I don't feel like to chant. Who knows? Maybe nothing works. Wow, that's scary. No, it's like choking your spiritual life. So we should focus on what are the aspects which give me faith, and by addressing those one by one, we develop greater faith. This is very important. So another question also, Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur on this question put. When we say we have faith, is it a matter of choice or is it a matter of grace? Is faith something given by God, or is faith something chosen by me or you?
Both, you have to want it.
Very smart. Mother Leah is very smart. Actually, it is both. It is like a muscle. Some people, have a healthy body by birth. Some people. And others can also develop it by exercise. Go to gym, discipline, similar in our spiritual life. Like for an example, do we have a 7.21? Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta saddaya varchitam ichchati. Now Krishna says, when you have a strong desire to believe in some God, demigod, then Krishna says, I give you faith. So in that case, Krishna is giving me the faith because I'm strongly desiring. If I worship Shiva, I'll get a good wife. If I worship Durga, I'll get a good husband. Or no, is it vice versa? I forgot. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. You'll get from either one. So that in that case, it is also a choice we make. We desire to worship a particular demigod. 7.21?
7:21.
You got it? Yeah. That it says that when someone desires to worship a particular God, Krishna says, I give them the strong faith. So faith comes from also God. Also by the association, you develop faith. It makes sense? Practically. Also, like for an example, if you are daily chanting and you feel happiness, then you say, okay, this works. So you're also developing from the practice a stronger faith. So faith is a matter of human choice, but along with the faith is also a gift. Faith is a result of grace also. 7.21. Bhagavatam also 1.2.21. It says that when you continually devotional service, all our doubt goes away and faith is established. So it says also by practice. Many ways. So faith is a matter of our choice, but it can be also grace. For grace, we have to wait, but we can work on our choice right away. Makes sense? Yes. Very practical. Very good. Thank you. So then, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, interesting. Anybody has Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhagavad Gita? I have them in English. Somebody put it out. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says on that, oh no, he says in Bhakta Loka, sorry. He quoted this verse. And he says, ignorant and faithless person, I'm reading on that, who doubt the revealed scripture do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is a happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Wow, scary. One who has faith is certainly without doubt, because the word faith means from conviction. As long as doubts are there, firm conviction cannot remain in the heart. Therefore, faithful living entities are always doubtless. I like that. Very nice. Okay. Now,
Question
yes.
about the face, because like for some reason when you were reading it, I don't know why, this picture in front of me found like those like fanatic people, that they put the face in front, and because of that face, because they have such a strong face in what they're doing, like in the name of God, they even like suicide themselves and kill other people. And they said because it's such a strong face, they have without no doubts at all, that they go to the paradise and they're gonna have like beautiful many wives or whatever.
No, 64.
Something like
I
that.
remember that. I
Yeah,
read that in the
yeah.
newspaper
So
after 9/11.
and then it's like their belief is their face is so strong in it, and that's why they're doing it, because they're, okay, that's what God has for me then, and that's why I'm gonna do the right thing. So no doubt, they're just face. So
But it's not aligned with the scripture. It's twisted.
right. But
And one
face is
professor
there.
said actually in
face
Quran
is
there is no
there.
such thing, but they twist it.
But what is face then? Like you said, face is, so like the face has to be then also, you cannot have just face in God, and that you don't, so then face has to be backed up by scriptures. So it's all this like, okay, because it's obvious that there are people like this with face, no doubt, and they do crazy things.
Or for us,
But that face comes also from God.
that's true. That's true. But for us, for Gaudiyas, faith is the only instrument for infinitesimal. We are so tiny to measure the finite. How do you measure unlimited? By faith. Krishna is most loving. How do you know this? How do you hear? Where from you hear? Faith. We have a faith on the scripture. We have a faith on the word of the sadhu guru. You cannot measure the infinite. But then if infinite cannot reveal to a finite, then it is not infinite. It's not infinite. Because infinite has to have an infinite quality that can manifest to a finite. And Mahaprabhu did that. Mahaprabhu is Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan all together. At the same time, he is running after even insignificant soul to give Krishna consciousness.
Can I just ask a clarifying question on top of this?
Yeah.
Where does the initial faith come from? As we sustain ourselves on the path, we just talked about having faith and, the desire to have faith. And even in Christianity, there's a pretty famous, form of prayer that says, please give me the faith to sustain myself on this path. But where does the initial faith come from for people who don't have it or don't have the knowledge for them to begin their path?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula. Mula means the root. The initial root of faith is from devotee.
So it's not there, but do they have an internal desire that they're not consciously aware of, and that's why it's given? Or
material faith and spiritual faith is a little different. Like even if somebody comes to temple, he say he never had any devotee association. But then how did he come to temple? So obviously he got some association of books or somewhere, something. Initially has to be some devotee involvement.
Is it the Paramatma kind of?
Paramatma guides, sure. Paramatma guide. Paramatma, Krishna definitely guides. Definitely guides. Krishna is always guiding the soul. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says
You
this-
have to accumulate the sukriti to get the thing, right? Like
Huh?
initially you have to get enough sukriti.
No,
No,
devotee gives mercy.
no, I know, but like if a non-devotee, never met devotee, all of a sudden becomes interested, means he accumulated enough. Like
No Sukriti. Narad Muni delivered Ratnakur Dosya. He was a mafia. No, what do you call Dosya means?
Hunter.
No, he's killing.
Yeah.
Hunter. No, hunter means he goes. He's like a
murder.
murderer. He randomly kills. His mother was a pious lady. He said, when you see a person with the Brahman thread, don't destroy the Brahman thread, they're powerful. So he make a little well and he used to store the Brahman thread. How many Brahmana he killed? So if you look at that, what credit he had piety? Nothing. When Narad Muni met him, he had zero. Rather, he had a negative, that he will be eternally in hell, killing all this animal.
No, I know, this is like mercy of pure devotee, but if you don't have that mercy of pure devotee, when you accumulate enough sukriti, you start becoming more interested in.
Material Sukriti cannot bring to bhakti.
But at least
It can help. It can help. It can help. It can help. Because if somebody likes to loves animals, they love cows. That can bring to maybe devotee association or cows like because his goodness. It can help, but it's not a qualification.
We're not talking about bhakti, we're talking about faith.
They're not the same thing, faith and bhakti.
Just to get the faith,
It's two different things, faith and bhakti.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives 3 types of sukriti. Bhojan Sukriti, Mukhan Sukriti, and Bhakti Sukriti.
Yes.
And from Bhakti Sukriti means past Bhakti, performance of Bhakti. Then can be faith. From Bhakti Sukriti. That means somebody in their previous life attends Rath Yatra. And the devotees are dancing Haribol, they take some prasadam, then they pass away, no advancement. But there's some Bhakti Sukriti there.
Next slide.
And
Or
Krishna
if
will-
somebody like did something like favorable to
Yes.
devotee, and this is even without knowing,
Correct.
you know,
Correct.
that is only what is
When you analyze the brilliance,
the
the
mouse.
brilliance of Srila Prabhupada, the brilliance of Srila Prabhupada is everything that he did when he structured ISKCON was to give anyone and everyone an opportunity to develop some Bhakti Sukriti, whether it's Rath Yatra, Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, prasadam distribution. Every one of those things are strategies for giving anyone and everyone, regardless of qualification, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, regardless of qualification, to plant the seed, the Bhakti Lata Bij.
Well, like we talked about it one time, like you mentioned on the Kaddish, you said, some person, let's say, very sick, cannot eat, no devotee, doesn't know, never gonna meet devotee, but it happened to Ekadashi, and he was fasting all day. This is accumulating very little sukriti already for him, and he maybe never gonna meet the devotee in his life, and he never would know that he done it. But little sukriti is there, like little.
Yeah, next slide. Next slide will come.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
let's say a little bit more, but
Yeah.
it's.
Isn't there that one story, was it Prahlad in his previous birth? Where
He was fasting on Nishingadev's appearance day.
And he cleared the
Yeah.
area that was a temple.
The temple to sleep. Not even aware that this is Nishingadev's temple. And then he became, That's true. Yes, mother.
I think she was also meaning like when person is interested in bhakti without meeting any devotee and all of a sudden
Correct.
picking up Bhagavad, like in my case, I never met devotees. I was reading, so many books to searching God and Bible, Quran, everything. But I got Bhagavad Gita online and it was Bhagavad Gita of Prabhupada. So I was lucky to get that. And when I started reading, I immediately connected and said, that's it. I'm reading these books, that's what, and then I started looking for devotees. That's how it happened to me. That's why I'm thinking that's the question she was asking. It's not only coming from devotees. If you have the real faith and desire, it's gonna come to you. Krishna is gonna give the mercy.
Yes, Krishna will guide, definitely. Definitely. Yes, Prabhu.
There was a story in one of the Puranas. A hunter shot up a board, and the board fell in the temple yard, and a dog grabbed the board and started running. And some other dogs chased this dog, and this dog started to run around the temple.
Parikrama, Jiva Goswami Pad says. Yeah, Jiva Goswami Pad said that was a temple.
The dog ran around the temple a few times.
Yeah.
And the next morning became a devotee or something.
He came in contact with devotee. He got Sukriti. Parikrama in temple is actually Sukriti.
Didn't Prabhupada tell that story about the rat who drank the...
Yes, also.
And the
Next life became actually a princess and then went back home, back to God. But it's not, I mean, we say it that mice wanted to drink that, thought it's a ghee, something liquid, but then it got burned the mouth. But actually next life didn't go to Vaikuntha, became a devotee, became a princess in a devotee family, I mean, royal family, and then got married to a Vaishnava prince, and then practiced sadhana, and then went back home, back to God. Param Purna Prabhu, you have raised hand.
I think one second. I just didn't allow them to unmute because then that would disturb you. So I'm just going to do that. Yeah, I think now they'll be able to.
Param Purna Prabhu, I see you have a raised hand.
Yes, it was Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance, Rajesh Prabhu.
Right. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. So I was just thinking this question that since you told Shraddha Van Lapate Jnanam, and you told that Krishna gives faith, but then you clearly clear it out that, hey, there should be some devotees involvement, because without devotees involvement, there is no question of faith at all.
Correct.
So Prabhu, my question is that, this follow-up question is that means that Krishna is not responsible for giving faith. His devotee is responsible for giving this.
In one sense, everything is coming from Krishna. Even Radharani is coming from Krishna, even pure devotee. Like we said, Nityananda Prabhu is more merciful than Mahaprabhu. In one sense, it's exhibit like this, but actually this is what Mahaprabhu wants. That Nityananda Prabhu should show more mercy. Because everything origin, source is Krishna. Everything coming from Krishna. Nityananda Prabhu cannot be more merciful than, where is Nityananda Prabhu coming? It is Mahaprabhu who expanded himself as Nityananda Prabhu to make it a little more distinct. So in that sense, so you can say both. But generally bhakti gives bhakti. How do I know?
That's okay.
Okay. Bhakti gives bhakti, but then bhakti manifests through a bhakta. So we see that, oh, Prabhupada is so merciful. It's true, but actually it is not Prabhupada merciful. It is that bhakti in Prabhupada's heart produce tenderness towards the other living being. Is the nature of bhakti in the heart of a devotee. Like automatically, you can't help it. So it is Prabhupada in a sense, but we also understand. Otherwise, if you would say it is Krishna, unconditional mercy, we generally say, oh, it's unconditional mercy. No, it's not unconditional mercy. If it's unconditional mercy, then whole world would become devotee in a moment. Krishna would not stop anybody. You follow? So it is not unconditional mercy. At the same time, it is not conditional, but it is Bhakti Devi manifest only to those who are qualified. So Madhyamadikari has a discrimination power. They see, oh, this guy don't want to believe in the form of God, he just want to take, so does not give bhakti to them. Okay, this person is innocent, okay, give. But Prabhupada is very merciful. He said 95% are innocent. So majority people in this world are innocent. But very few people are envy to God. And this resentment, it stays even when I become new. Just have to chant again. This is not good. He's the most beloved, lovable person, Krishna holy name. I feel like, just feel like I don't want to chant. Like if I would have finished the rounds, I would feel better. What kind of feeling is this? It's a resentment. We have to be very careful how we deal with Krishna. Because Krishna is the supreme lover, beloved. And as a lover, oh my God, my sweetheart is asking again water. I just gave this morning water, again water. It's like, what kind of, it's like who cares? There's no really good feeling. So like this, when we want to chant, you feel like, oh gosh, I have to chant again 16 rounds. It's like you feel like a burden. Krishna doesn't like that. That's why I pounded it other day, that Yudhishthira Maharaj, Bhishma Dev and Duryodhana, they both were on the opposite party against Pandava, against Krishna. But nobody ever glorified Duryodhana. But they glorify Bhishma Dev. But both are on the same party. And the reason they said, even Bhishma Dev himself said, that I did not ever had resentment. And the Lord is so merciful. Even though I was fighting against the Pandava, but I knew Krishna is the cause of all this, whatever is happening, mass. But I never ever accused him. I always saw him as a cure in my life. This we should have all the time. Their holy name is ultimate. Who is holy name? It's my everything. Never ever, I should feel happy to chant. I should feel happy to, okay, I'm going to now chant at least 60 now. Not like, oh, I want to finish my 60 now. This is like you really don't want to do it. It's like you're forced to love somebody. It's not really genuine love. And that's why we don't see substantial result in our life. We should adore it. When we want to love the Lord, we should actually start. I like Prabhupada said to Gargamuni that when he didn't want to pay obeisances, Prabhupada said, just do it. It will become a habit and then you will like it. And I see that. A lot of Indians, they have so much habit. Whenever they go to temple, automatically they just bow down. It's a habit. Then this habit becomes, you like it. You feel guilty not to, if you don't do it. Rather, you feel very happy if you do it. So it becomes. So we should force ourselves to chant. Actually, Prabhupada did say, it says forced meditation. This chanting rounds is a forced meditation. You have to force. It won't happen automatically. So from that angle, we have to see. Yes, Prabhu.
In Chapter 9 also states here that this fate is attained by discharge of devotional service and by chanting Hare Krishna. So also faith comes.
We should always meditate. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, faith is the only instrument. He said, faith is the only instrument for the finite or infinitesimal living being to measure the infinite. How much Krishna loves us. See how much faith you have. You don't have a faith, you will never see Krishna loves you. This is so important. Yes, Prabhu.
There's an anonymous quote which says, faith can move mountains and doubt can create them.
Yes, 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 yes.
So the faith is a very important aspect. And Krishna, in the 5th chapter of Gita, says, when one's intelligence, mind, and faith and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings. Another synonym for doubt is misgivings, through complete knowledge, and thus proceeds straight on the path of the
Yes.
I asked Pradumya, who was Prabhupada's
Sanskrit. Yeah.
I asked him, I said, can you give me a secret definition for bhakti? Because he always would know all the nuances. And so he said, always available.
Nice.
That's a definition, always available.
I think 9.3. Asraddha dhana purusha dharma sasya parantapa aprapamam nivartate mitya samsara vartmani. It says that if you don't have a faith, what will happen to you? You're going to stay in this world, period. This mortal world, taking birth, and if you don't have faith, Krishna says this. If you don't have a faith on this bhakti, you will be staying in this material world. That's it. So this is very nice. Oh, we have one more, and then we are done for this chapter. So we'll start next week. It will be next. Let's do the last one, and then we can finish. Sorry. 41. Together. Yoga sannasta karmanam yena sanchinna sangsayam atma bantam na karmani nibaddanti dhananjaya. Mother Anuradha, would you like to read?
One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work or conqueror of riches. Purport. One who follows the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita as it is imparted by the Lord, the personality of Godhead himself, becomes free from all doubts by the grace of transcendental knowledge. He is part and parcel of the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, is already established in self-knowledge. As such, he is undoubtedly above bondage to action.
That's nice. But Arjuna was doubting here that Krishna used the word karma sannyas. Does Krishna want me to take karma sannyas? Karma sannyas means no fight or whatever action you don't want to do, renounce karma sannyas. Or he wants me to fight. What does he want? He was like going through like within me. And if I have to fight, do I have to fight with the bow and arrow or fight within some knowledge? What is the fight means? Because bhakti is what? Journey within. It is not so much only action. It is the consciousness behind the action. More important. The intention counts the most. With this Hanuman and the squirrel, Lord Ram says, it is not the magnitude, it is the attitude. So it was internal, more than big boulder or little dust, whatever. That squirrel was carrying. So Lord Ram gives that our intention, our attitude, devotional attitude is more important than the big service I do, whatever it is. So one more verse, that will be the answer. What Krishna wants me to do. He's asking that question, the next one. Together. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam ritstam gena ashinatmana chidvainam sangsayam jogam ati shista bharata. Gopal.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
So this is the first time in this chapter Krishna used the word fight. In the whole chapter, he didn't mention anything about fight. And this is ending it. That's why Arjuna is like doubting now. Does he want me to fight? Or in previous verse he said to take karma sannyas. So he was trying to like, of course Krishna doesn't have an intention, but Arjuna is inquiring, like we doubt ourselves. What does Krishna really want me to do? Sometimes we think like that. Okay, translation, purport.
The yoga system instructed in this chapter is called Sanatana Yoga, or eternal activities performed by the living entity. This yoga has two divisions of sacrificial actions. One is called sacrifice of one's material possessions, and the other is called knowledge of the self, which is pure spiritual activity. If sacrifice of one's material possession is not dovetailed for spiritual realization, then such sacrifice becomes material. But one...
Everybody understood this? This is very nice.
But
I have a mango garden, but I don't want to offer to Krishna mango. I'm going to offer only ice cream. That's all. No mango. Then this mango is never going to be spiritualized. It will remain material. Everybody understood? So whatever we have, if we offer that, then it becomes spiritual. Very nice. Yes?
But one who performs such sacrifice with a spiritual objective or in devotional service makes a perfect sacrifice. When we come to spiritual activities, we find that these are also divided into two, namely, understanding of one's self or one's constitutional position, and the truth regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who follows the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is can very easily understand these two important divisions of spiritual knowledge. For him, there is no difficulty in obtaining perfect knowledge of the self as part and parcel of the Lord. And such understanding is beneficial, for such a person can easily understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. In the beginning of this chapter, the transcendental activities of the Lord were discussed by the Supreme Lord himself. One who does not understand the instructions of the Gita is faithless and is to be considered to be misusing the fragmental independence awarded to him by the Lord. In spite of such instructions, one who does not understand the real nature of the Lord as eternal, blissful, all-knowing personality of Godhead is certainly fool number one. Ignorance can be removed by gradual acceptance of the principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is awakened by different types of sacrifices to demigods, sacrifice to Brahman, sacrifice in celibacy, in household life, in controlling the senses, in practicing mystic yoga, in penance, in foregoing material possessions, in studying the Vedas, and in partaking of social institution called Varnashram Dharma. All of these are known as sacrifice, and all of them are based on regulated actions. But within all these activities, the important factor is self-realization. One who seeks that objective is the real student of Bhagavad Gita. But one who doubts the authority of Krishna falls back. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture under a bona fide spiritual master with service and surrender. A bona fide spiritual master is in the disciplic succession from time eternal, and it does not deviate at all from the instructions of the Supreme Lord as they were imparted millions of years ago to the Sun God, from whom the instruction of Bhagavad Gita have come down to the earthly kingdom. One should therefore follow the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is, expressed in the Gita itself, and beware of self-interested people after personal aggrandizement, who deviate others from the actual path. The Lord is definitely the Supreme Person, and his activities are transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person from the very beginning of his study of Bhagavad Gita. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of transcendental knowledge.
So this is very important. This end conclusion is so nice. So Arjuna has to fight with the bow and arrow, obviously, but also he's going to, in this verse ending, in this chapter, ending with that he's finding out that he has to perform in Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means internally. And then later on, chapter 7 and 9, he will introduce Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is also Krishna consciousness, but Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, there is a fine difference. Karma Yoga means you are born with a psychophysical nature. You have to engage those in order to be spiritualized or become pure. But if you avoid those nature, psychophysical nature, say for an example, I have a desire to make money, but I want to, I should go to Radha Kund and chant 64 rounds, but previous impression is like pounding so much from last life, and it's going to take place, but I'm not allowing it because I don't want it. I just want to be completely mendicant. Eventually, I'll be there and I'll be chanting 64 rounds. Eventually, it will take me to a place where I'll start maybe selling some tilak or selling something beads and something. Oh, I thought he went to chant 64 rounds in Radhakund, gave up his business here. Now he's selling their tilak and beads. Because try to understand, this is so important, that Arjuna is born to fight. And he's going to fight. Only difference is whether he fight for Krishna or he fight for Krishna's Maya. That's the choice he has. So this is very nice. This is called Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means you are born with a particular nature. You have to engage it. And then Bhakti Yoga means pure Bhakti. That will be introduced in 7. So here the comparison is given by one Acharya that you know how to fight. You are a good fighter. You know the skill, you have the skill, and you have a special sword. It is so good that, and you are so good with it, you can kill 100 people in one shot. But you left the sword in the tent. You are in a war and you're facing, but you are strong, you are skillful, but you don't have the weapon with you. What will happen to you? You will be defeated. This is very important. So to be adequately armed, we need to regularly study books of spiritual knowledge, such as Bhagavad Gita. However, if this knowledge stays only in our books or notes, not in our head and heart, it will be like a weapon in the tent. You got it? You missed it. Everybody understand that? If you are a good soldier, you have a skill, you are so good with your sword that you can kill 100 people in one slice, or what do you call it?
Stroke. Yeah.
One stroke. Okay, you can kill 100 people with one stroke, but you are in the middle of the war, but you forgot to bring your sword. It's in the tent. What will happen to you? You'll be defeated. Everybody understand my point? No? No? Yes?
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say here, Arjuna is getting this point, that if we want to really win this war against Maya, we have to have a sadhana all the time with us. And when we chant and when we study, don't try to keep the notes or the philosophy in the Bhagavad Gita. No, you keep the note and the philosophy in the head and heart, not in the book. Oh yeah, I know, we read this in the Bhagavad Gita. Let me look at Bhagavad Gita. No, it should be in the head and the heart. What Krishna says here, can somebody just give me one little explanation, one line? What is Karma Yoga? We discuss why Karma Yoga is introduced to Arjuna. Because?
To act according to his nature.
Very good, thank you. Because everybody is born with a particular nature. You follow? I'm not saying it is a devotional nature. It is a contamination nature. Whatever it is, making money, eating, sleeping, mating, some nature is born. So for Arjuna's case, he was a fighter, Kshatriya. So he has only one choice Prabhupada made in 18.60. He says either he fight for Maya or fight for Krishna or Krishna's Maya. There is no other choice. So here we are ending with this, that in order to fight with Maya, we need a skill, we need the sword all the time while we are in the war. Don't keep your sword in the tent and you are facing I'm good at killing, but you don't have the sword with you, it's not going to work. So what does that mean? Means whatever we are studying, please try to keep in your head and heart, not in the book. It should go there. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. We're going to chant 1 minute more. Gopalarade Prabhu, would you like to sing? Just 5 minutes here. Mridanga or Karta? You play the mridanga. Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Radha, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundara, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Pancha Kalpataruvesya Kripa Sindhavaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Ananta Kari Vaishnavindaki Jai Srila Prabhupada.